Good morning. This is Deb, and I am here to show you how to do the first part of template piecing. So I'm going to show you how to cut them out. And then I'll do another video to show you how to sew them together. So in the files, there are templates that look like this. I specifically put them on 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper so that you can send them through your printer without issue. Now you can buy on Amazon or probably, I think even Joann. I've seen them at Joann. You can buy 8.5 by 11 sheets of freezer paper. And that way you can print these directly onto the freezer paper. So if you don't want to buy the paper, you can use a roll like this, and you can cut them into 8.5 by 11 size, and you can use those in your printer. Now they are going to have a bit of a curl because, you know, they're on a roll like this, but you can maneuver that okay. So that's the easiest way to get these onto freezer paper. You could also just trace it if you wanted to do that, but you want to make sure that when you trace it that you trace the red line in red and the black lines in black because those red lines are important. And when you print your templates, you're going to print 2 copies. You're going to print one on regular, this is just regular copy paper, printer paper. So you're going to print one on regular printer paper, and then one will be on the freezer paper. The one that's the copy paper, you're going to leave that whole because you're going to need this map when it comes time to reassembling your template pieces. So this is a very important tool. Then you will take your freezer paper copy, and I've already got mine cut up so that I can, but it looks just like this. I've already cut mine out so that you can see how I cut these out. Anyway, so you're going to notice the red line. When you cut out your freezer paper copy, you're just going to cut around this red line, just like this. Okay, that's going to be your first thing. Then the first piece that you're going to cut out is going to be the last number. So it's going to be numbers, in this case, it's going to be number 7. And there's a reason why you do it this way. You don't want to cut all the pieces out at one time. The first piece you're going to cut out is number 7. So you're just going to cut right here, and you're going to cut that number 7 off. And then you're going to iron your template piece onto whatever your fabric choice is. You want to make sure that you have a ruler. Let's see if I can, that has, well, I can't see it with that. Let's try this. Now, here we go. That has the 1/4 inch marking, because you're gonna use that 1/4 inch line. Okay, and then you'll need a rotary cutter and matte. The red lines, as you can see here, I have got the red line right up against a cut that I've already got, because you're going to cut the red lines on the red line. The black lines are going to be the only lines that have the 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you see, here's a red line. I'm going to cut it directly on that red line. I just used the edge of the fabric that I already had. And then I'll cut a 1/4 inch here and a 1/4 inch here. Okay, so this is a red line. And I've just cut directly on that red line. Here, I'm going to take this 1/4 inch line and I'm going to put it right up to, whoops, sorry, I'm off camera here, right off to the edge. This 1/4 inch line is right on the edge of the paper. And then you're going to cut right along here to give yourself a 1/4 inch. So you're going to do that. Just like that. Same thing over here. 1/4 inch. And there's your first piece. Okay. And then number 6, same way. Here's a red line. The red line, I would just put it right up against the cut that I already had. Here's another red line, so I'm going to cut right on the red line. Okay, I don't know if you can hear that singing, but somebody out front is singing at the top of their lungs. Sounds pretty good. We are in Nashville. Okay, 1/4 inch line here. Actually, I don't live in Nashville, but close. I live in a very small community that touches Nashville. Small town. Okay, come on now. So there's number 6. Okay, so then the next 2 you're going to cut out are 4 and 5. Okay, the red line I put along the cut edge already. This is a red line. So I've cut right along the red line. And if you've ever done Sherry's template piecing, it's the very same. It's the very same thing. Okay, there's number 5. Let's move on to number 4. These are red lines, so I'm going to cut directly on the red lines. And accuracy is pretty important. I mean, they're not going to fit back together if they're not cut accurately. So and these templates that I designed You do not have to use these. You can design your own. Once you've made a few, you'll get the whole gist. You'll get the whole concept. And you can make your own designs. So this red line I put along there. I'm going to trim that down just a little tiny bit though. Get those little jiggity jags off. Oh, sorry, I forgot to tell you. Now we're moving over here to 3. 3, 2, and 1. So, and you're doing it backwards when you cut them out, but when you put them back together again, you'll put them together in numeric order. Okay, so there's number 3. 2's in the center, so it's going to need all 4 sides a 1/4 inch seam allowance. When you're done cutting these out, do not remove the paper. The freezer paper. Don't take the freezer paper off. That's a no-no. It will help you when you're sewing everything, when you're sewing them back together. It will help you tremendously. When I first started template piecing, doing one of Sherry's, and I mean, as we know, Sherry's directions aren't the best. You kind of have to wing it a little bit with Sherry. And I took the pieces off, the freezer paper pieces. What a knucklehead. Okay, so this is number 1. Okay, so now I've got all my pieces cut out. Now you're going to need your map. And this is the way I do it. I have a little lid, a little shallow lid. And I start putting them back together like this. So that I can carry them over to my sewing area. Sorry. So that I can carry them over to my sewing area and sew them all back together. So I only do one at a time. So I will take this to my sewing area and I will sew these all back together. When you print your instructions, it will include, so like this is template A. This is template A. So you're going to go over here to your instructions and you're going to see template A. And you're going to follow the instructions from there. So it says, sew 1 and 2 together. And then you're going to sew 3 to 1 and 2. Then you're going to sew 4 and 5 together. And then you're going to sew 4 and 5 to this larger unit. You're going to sew 6 and 7 together. And you're going to sew them to this larger unit. And you're done. That's how easy it is. When you sew it together, because you've got that paper on there, It's very easy to just match that up. You can see how that's matched up. Make sure I'm on camera here. Just going to match that up. If you want to put a pin in there, you can. And sew 1/4 inch. And then you'll sew 3. And in between each, so when you get these two sewn together, you either, what I use is a Teflon bone folder, and I press those seams open. It makes for a much neater finish if you've got your seams pressed open. So here's one. You can see that I've got those pressed open. And I just used this bone folder and just pressed them open like this. Or you can use a, you know, they've got little wooden quilting tools or whatever. So that's the way you cut it out, and that's the way that you're going to sew them back together. I had talked about the possibility of doing another video to show you exactly how to sew those together. I'm not really sure that that's necessary. I think that, I mean, you guys are all experienced quilters. Those of you that are unsure and would like to have another video, but again, you're gonna line these up like this, pin it, sew it together, and press your seam open. So I know that we do have some new people, and they may be unfamiliar with, or, you know, you may not be new. You may be a long-time quilter, but are just unfamiliar with template piecing. So if you feel the need to have a video to see how to sew them together, then you can let me know. This is one that I did, and I did it to this point so that you could see what it would look like. So 5 is next. You would line these up, line your papers up, just like that. Pin it, sew it. Then you move on to number 6, and then and number 6 is over here. And then number 7 goes over here. Like this. So, anyway, I hope that helps you. Well, let me show you one that's done. And if you want to, as you can see, this one I used machine stitching, decorative stitching. If you want to use machine decorative stitching, then you'll want to get some medium to lightweight stabilizer. That'll help you a lot when you're doing that. If you're going to do it by hand, then you certainly don't need stabilizer. You will also need to have some kind of lightweight batting. This is a Hobbs batting, or you could use Warm and Natural, which Warm and Natural is going to be heavier than this. But, and then this is what you'll make your sandwich with. Included in the files are the backs of the postcards if you choose to use those. I have put together several different backs. And again, what you can do is, I made it the very same size as the postcard fronts, and which is 5x7. And you can purchase fabric in 8.5x11 sheets that you can run through your printer. And you can either do that, or you can cut a neutral or a muslin 8.5 by 11, put some freezer paper on the back of it, and then you can run it through your printer like that, and then print directly onto your fabric these backs. Or you can design your own back. The really important part is that somewhere on your postcard there needs to be your signature. So you can embroider, you can use a permanent micron pin. Doesn't have to be micron, it can be any type of permanent pin, and you'll put your signature on here, either the front or the back. And I left room on the backs so that you could, you know, write a message or, you know, whatever it is, and include your signature. You'll also want to consider decorating. So you can see here I've put a little bit of lace on here, but you could put beads on here, you could put buttons. I mean, you know, it's a crazy quilt style, so all the things that go in crazy quilts will go on these postcards. It'll be perfect. So I've used brighter colors. These are Jen Kingwell's. And, you know, this one was 30s. And all this green fabric is fabric that my friend Sheila gave me. I love this green fabric. And it looks very, to me, very spring and fresh and green and you know, St. Patrick-y. Which will be next month. So anyway, I think that's everything. If you've got any questions, please let me know. Again, these are already in the files, and I look forward to seeing how you make your postcards. I already have several people that have signed up for the swap. If you want to sign up for the swap, you've got until the 19th of February. Just send me a message on Messenger, and I'll need your address, obviously, and whether or not you want to ship internationally or stay within your country. And you can swap up to 3. Now, that doesn't mean that you only have to make 3. You can make as many as you want, because wouldn't they make a great Happy Mail? I mean, send this off to someone in your Happy Mail. That would be so fun. You could have several made and send them as a birthday card. Or, oh gosh, there's just so many things that these cute little scrappy crazy quilt postcards. I mean, there's so many things that you could do with them. It's really a fun project. So anyway, I think that'll do it. And if you've got any questions, please let me know. And for now, I'm going to sign off. This is Deb. See ya. Bye.